What's up, gamers? I'm back, and today I'm kind of making a video that I kind of talk about the ideas a lot on stream and on Twitter because I'm a Twitter truther, but I haven't really made a good video on it, I don't think. So here we go. I want to talk about the mentality of a lot of the players of solo queue and bad teammates. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to go down to the bottom left. I'm trying a new format, so let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy. All right, so obviously I'm going to start with this game's matchmaking, and skill-based matchmaking in particular are absolute trash. It might as well be non-existent. To me, when you have the majority of the players in the highest rank, you can't have a good rank system. So I'm going to put that aside. I'm going to say that, yes, absolutely, the ranked is bad, but that's not the reason why people are hard stuck and why they lose. So it's important to note that, and then also note that that's not what's going to be holding people back. So the way I see it, in my opinion, veteran rank, which is right about in the middle, should be where the majority of the players fall. If you're at 50% win rate, 51, 49, you should end up somewhere in veteran, not in masters, just because you play a lot. And that's probably the biggest gripe with the game, and where the matchmaking just really falls apart, because masters is overpopulated. In my opinion, it should be 10% or even ideally less than that of the top players even make it to masters in a season, rather than making masters something that's attainable with a 45% win rate just by playing a lot. Now let's get to the solo queue mindset that really kind of bugs me. And by kind of bugs me, I mean bugs me a lot. And I see this everywhere. I see it in Twitch chat, I see it on Twitter, I see it on people's streams. And it's just the idea that randoms are the reason you're losing your games, or that you're the elo that you are. So my biggest problem with that is that leaves no room for growth. If you lose a game and you say, oh, my randoms this game were so bad, oh, my randoms are so buns, if my random wasn't backcapping, maybe we could have won this fight, we could have won the game. Dude, I had 3 DPS characters on my team, what are we ever gonna do? So that's just kind of a defeatist attitude, in my opinion. And the attitude, more than anything, is what's going to hold you back. So attitude and skill, obviously, together are what can hold you back. So the most important thing to remember when you're playing Pokemon Unite, other than the matchmaking sucks and you're never going to have good teammates, is that you're the only aspect you can control. If you're playing enough games, then you will rank up if you're playing better, if you're continuing to learn, if you're improving on your gameplay, and you're getting better with each game. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, it's very, very easy, even for me, to get bogged down in like, dude, this guy went AFK. That's so annoying. Like, that's so buns, bro. This game, we had 5 minutes left and you spam surrender and go AFK. And it's super easy to have a couple of games like that and just think, wow, this game sucks so bad, blah, blah, blah. The matchmaking's so bad. I just need teammates that are going to play the game and I'll win. But really, you have to remember, if you play enough, and this all bases on if you play enough, your rank will be about accurate, okay? AFKs will balance out. I promise you, you've played against teams where the other team had somebody go AFK, and now you win a lopsided game. So it's important to remember, like, every time you have an AFK, just to balance your emotions and think, well, that definitely happened to the other team at some point. I've definitely gotten some wins off AFKs that were super unbalanced in my favor. And then you just kind of move on. So you don't look at AFKs as games that really affect your elo or your win rate, because if you're playing enough, they're gonna balance out, I promise. Source, trust me, bro. Like I said, you're the only aspect you can actually control. So what I like to do in a game, usually, honestly, the game is clearly decided by the Rayquaza fight. So what I like to do after the game ends, if we lost or it was close, it's like, okay, well, why did we lose? Why was that close? What could I have done important, or what could I have improved upon to have made that fight go a lot better? And a lot of times it's like, oh, I overextended here. I used this wrong move one time. Like, I used this move 1 second too early, 1 second too late. Something like that. Something as simple as using a move 1 second too early, missing a target, maybe if it's a skill shot. Something like that. Something very, very small that could change the game in your favor. For example, let's say I play Cinderace. And what happens all the time is I'll go to ult and it doesn't target, and now my ult's just stuck and I still have it. But of course I needed that damage. I needed the buff. I needed everything to go off, and it didn't work. So that's obviously a huge, super important one. Like, oh, my ult didn't go off. Something like that. Or overextending is really, really big. So if you overextend that, then that's obviously a huge issue and something to be worked on. Rather than, oh man, my team lost the game for me. I got 2 kills. Well, what if you backed up, you got your 2 kills back up, and then you fight with your team again and finish the rest of the team? It's just small stuff like that that I really think people can improve upon. And on that aspect, obviously it's just easier to look at the Rayquaza fight because that's where the game is decided most of the time. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can decide the game earlier on by getting your team tons of levels and advantage and all the farm and all the points just by playing the game more effectively early on. Another thing I like to do is your first evolution, for example, the laning phase before 7 minutes. I say first evolution, but not everybody has to evolve, right? But that's super important. If you're stuck at level 4 at 7 minutes, there's a problem there. Maybe it's your jungler didn't rotate down and theirs did, or didn't rotate to your lane and the opposing jungler did. And there's not really a lot you can do about that. But if it's even and you're losing the laning phase to the other team early on, that just puts your team at a horrible disadvantage, and it makes it really, really hard for you to come back. And then you can't really blame somebody for going to back half at the end because you're behind and you're trying to find a way to catch back up or draw the team fight in a different direction. And that goes with stacking. Late game and early game, I think, are where people can really improve. That's the same with stacking. If you're stacking a character and you die 3 times to get 1 stack, well, now you've fed the other lane so much XP, it's going to be impossible for the lane you rotate to, or for your lane now, if you're playing top lane, and your jungler to be able to win that fight because you fed their laners and now they're level 7 at the 7-minute mark, rather than the 5 or 6 that ideally they should be if everything goes evenly. There's really so many like micro plays you can make in this game that could have an outcome on the game. Like it could come down to getting your stacks in because you could secured better early game or something like that, or you got a kill because they overextended early and you didn't. And I think a lot of people don't give credit to that because it's so much easier to look at, oh, my Greninja had only 4 kills, the other team's Greninja had 20 kills. Well, what could you have done to support them? I know it's kind of hard to look at teammates when they have a rough game and think, well, why they have a rough game? Did I have any hand in that? But really the only way you're going to improve is by looking at your mistakes and trying to improve upon them, because you're the only aspect in the game you can control. And that's really the main point. You're the only part of the game you can control. So the best thing to do is look at how you played, what could have gone differently, and then try to improve upon it for the next game. And then this gradual improvement will lead you to a gradual climb. You'll see your skill level increase and your rank increase at the same time. Assuming you're playing enough, of course, because if you have 2 AFKs, but you've improved, it's not going to show. So if you're playing enough, your game is balanced out, then it is a pretty solid show of your skill level. And I say that no matter what your role is. Obviously, it's very much easier for a jungler or a really, really good lane attacker to carry than it is for a Blissey. But even with Blissey or a healer in particular, if you hit 1 more heal on a carry, maybe you position a little bit better, take 1 more hit for them, something like that, it can really change the fight. So I'm not saying every character can hard carry, but there's little things that every character can do. And you look at what you did and try to improve upon it for the next game. And when you do that, it stops becoming, oh, my randoms through this game, and rather, oh, what could I have done a little bit better? And to me, it's just the mentality shift that I see a lot of streamers don't have, honestly. But the ones that do, you'll notice are the big ones, like the ones who did well professionally. So Gatlu, I think, is the best example. I watched Gatlu one time kill 4 players and then die. And the first thing he said was, oh, man, if I hit that shot, well, I could have killed them all. And they lost because the 1 player was enough to kill the Rayquaza. And really, of course, with mechanical skill, it's the mindset. It's such a big thing that really gets on my nerves because I'm not mechanically the best player. I would like to be one day, but I really have so much to learn about the game itself to get there. And I think looking at the players who are super mechanical or have had a lot of success, like I'm using in this example, Gatlu, because he's honestly one of the best I've seen about it. And really just this shift is where you'll see a lot of improvement and looking at what you could have done better. So I want to know what you think. Give me your take in the comments, what I got right, what I got wrong. Smash subscribe, check me out on Twitch, and come back for more videos.